Hello.
Hi.
From one side of London to the other.
Yeah, I made it. I was so worried.
I know. The first time you do one of these, it's all like, oh, what do I press? What do I do?
I was
But
just
you
like,
made it. Well done.
gonna go wrong, but we've done it, so I'm really pleased. Thank you for this.
So far, so good.
I'm really excited to be chatting to you all.
Yeah, same. I feel like we've had loads of emails and Instagram messages, and it's nice to actually see your face.
Yeah, great to hear your voice.
Yeah, I already knew your voice because as you know, have been making my bulk culottes. So
Yeah.
I've been watching your YouTube tutorials,
Oh,
and I really like them. Very soothing, nice camera work, calming voice. That's just what I want.
thank you. I think we need that when we're sewing. I'm definitely quite an impatient sewer, so that sort of calm, soothing is exactly what I need.
100%. Yeah. I like to just have some sort of relaxing music on or a podcast or something like that. And then it's just like get in the zone for as much of the day as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really good.
it's great.
So to start with, can you tell us a little bit about you and Make with Mandy?
Yeah, so I actually work full time as a buyer for a big retail store, and COVID-19 sort of gave me the opportunity to do less travel with my job. So I had a bit more time on my hands, and I trained in fashion at university, and I'd always worked in the industry. And I just thought, do you know what? I really want to give this a go. So I drafted myself a dress and posted a picture of me on Instagram. And a friend of mine in Canada, she messaged me and she said, "Oh, can I have the pattern?" And I was like, "No, because it's like exactly bespoke for me." So I then got thinking and I thought, oh, actually, maybe I could turn this into a little thing. So I just blindly jumped into it, just started creating patterns, and they were all very much around kind of the things that I liked rather than taking any notice of what was going on out there. I really wanted to make stuff that I felt passionate about. So my first three designs that I've got out there are the bulk lot, the Mia dress, and the Corey dress, and yeah, they were just very much kind of this is what I want to wear. And yeah, I got started, and it's been quite a steep learning curve. So I've only been really out in the world with this since around January time. And I've had to learn how to make YouTube videos, do a website, do Instagram lives, like all of
Yeah, there's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes, isn't there?
yeah.
But that first pattern that you were talking about that your friend wanted, is that one from your current collection?
Yeah, so the first one that I did was the Mia dress, and yeah, I just love it. For me, like the tiered gathered thing, it's just something that I just feel like I'll just wear so much. And the feedback from the testers and a few people that have actually made it has been great. And actually, from where I started it, I've added in a long sleeve option as well. I think as well, it's kind of quite nice for a sewer who's got a bit of experience. It can teach you a few other little things like trying to do a really neat V-neck. There is a slight little technique and inserting an invisible zip, which I did a poll with my audience, and I think zips are something that people are still quite afraid of. Whereas I'm more afraid of buttonholes because I didn't.
Me too. I was just going to say that. Yeah, me too. I've actually still only ever tried buttons once,
Yeah,
and it was on double gauze, and it just didn't work. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to leave it. I don't need buttons on this. And then ever since then, I haven't gone back to it. But
yeah,
it's silly because they look really nice. I like them. I just have a fear.
exactly. I've actually, as I was thinking about what we were going to talk about today, I've got a little story for you actually, which
Oh yeah.
so when I was back at university, one of my like favorite projects that I did was I made myself a coat. And actually, if I was going to make anything for myself now, if I had the time, I would love to make myself a coat, just beautifully fitted, that perfect sleeve length and everything. And I think with the tailoring and everything else that goes into a coat, I'd love to have the time to be able to do something like that. So I did that when I was at university, and it had a puffed sleeve and a nipped in waist, and it had a button placket down the front. I'd beautifully lined it. I bought this wool from Derby University, Derby Market, and it was just really, really nice. Lined it beautifully. The last thing to do was to snip the buttonholes, and I cut into my lining as I was
No,
can you believe that? I was
that's
just
beautiful.
honest.
That is doing nothing to reassure me to try buttons.
I have learnt my lesson since then.
Did you manage to save it?
Yeah, but it wasn't the same. You know, I still had, I just knew then that I'd had that little hole in there that I'd mended, but you know, I can't fit into into that coat anymore. So
Oh wow. I mean, it's a valuable lesson. I'm sure you're really, really careful with your buttons now. But you know, that is the problem with buttons as well, because they are usually right at the end of the garment.
yeah,
So you've got this beautiful thing, and then it's like, is it going to end up beautiful or damaged? And you just never really know.
yeah. I just want to assure everyone as well. Like one of the things about Make with Mandy was that I just the way that I do things is I just jump into it and I just get going, and you know, I don't want to overthink it. And you know, you should just be brave and just think, oh, what's the worst that can happen? You know, I think a lot of people are afraid of breaking their sewing machines, or you know, and you don't want to waste really beautiful fabric. I understand that, but sometimes you've just got to take the leap and just do it and see how.
Yeah, and I think you can usually save it as well. Like if something goes wrong, you can probably at least get, you know, a short sleeve top out of it or something like that. So
Yeah,
the fabric doesn't really go to waste.
exactly. So yeah.
So how do you come up with the names for your patterns? Because I've been making the bulk lots, and yeah, I was just wondering like where do the names come from?
So, so much time and effort goes into the developing of all of the pattern pieces, and there's certain aspects of each of the designs that have been easier and some bits that have been a little bit more tricksy. But the bulk calotte was actually my fastest pattern to come to fruition. So we just jokingly named it after Usain Bolt because it was.
Oh, I love that. That's great. I'm so happy that's where the name comes from.
So
So
yeah,
I'm guessing,
go on.
so does that mean that all of your patterns are named after athletes? Because that would be cool.
They're not. Most of them are just generally poking fun at my own process of how hard it's been to do them. But so you know, I've got a few other patterns that I'm very close to releasing, particularly one which I'm hoping to release in the next few weeks. Don't want to promise too much because it does always take longer than I think it will. But I'm actually struggling for a name for it. So I thought it'd be nice to run a little competition with both of our followers, to give them the opportunity to actually choose the name for the pattern. And whoever wins will obviously get a free version of the pattern as well. So I'm going to introduce my next release will be this gorgeous little cami top. So it's got little bias cut straps, and it's got a half lining in there, which you probably can just peek and see in there. And then it's actually got darts as well. And I originally made this and put on a skirt panel as well with like a gather across the top. So I'm sort of toying with adding that into the pattern. But I'd love it if anybody's got any suggestions on, you know, what I could call this, like definitely pop it in the comments, or I'll be putting a little post on my stories after this so you can add your suggestions in there. Oh, thank you, Sam. That's really nice. Sam says it's
It is beautiful. Yeah, no, it's lovely. I think it's not all that common to get a cami with darts. It's always a nice addition.
yeah.
And I really like the thin straps and the clean finish. Looks perfect for summer.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think most of my designs, I think I'm just like really waiting for summer.
Yeah, I mean I think that is why I haven't sewn very much recently, because I think I'm a fair weather sewer. Like I just want to make all the shorts, all the strappy tops.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're quicker. I don't know.
I mean, I personally, I like my summer wardrobe a lot more than my winter one because I just love pattern and just colour.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's kind of something that I've had to probably tone down a little bit for, you know, thinking of Make with Mandy going forward. You know, I love, if I go to a fabric shop, I'm like a magpie for all the pattern stuff. And actually, I've been talking to Bevan from Born Textiles, because I think the way that I've shopped for fabrics in the past, it's been very ad hoc, and I'm very much like, I buy the fabric and then I think about what I'm going to make with it, and therefore I have a stash which is growing out of control. And now that I'm just starting to think that actually, you know, whilst I love that experience of going to the market and just buying something and it's relatively cheap, it would be nice to be buying fabric that you knew where it had come from, you know, what its credentials were, that it is coming from better sources. And so, you know, I'm really keen to see Born Textiles as a business grow. I think it's a fantastic idea. So for anybody that doesn't know, Born Textiles is a company that's in Glasgow, and they're very much about sustainably sourced fabrics, trying to get things as locally as possible, which in some cases is not possible. Obviously, you know, there isn't cotton grown up in Glasgow, for instance, but she's got some fantastic little bits and pieces on there. And I think, you know, just being able to use fabrics that actually have quite a nice story behind them feels really good to me as well. So it's something that I'm exploring for, you know, when I release my next patterns.
Yeah, I think there has been quite a shift lately, or at least I've noticed one where fabric shops are popping up with a focus on sustainability and like where you're sourcing things from. And I think also people who sew are a bit more interested in it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's quite a few good options there, including Born, who are in the haystack pack as well.
Yeah, and just lovely, such a new business. You know, and I've certainly experienced like setting up a small business. It is incredibly difficult. So I take my hat off to anybody that's doing it. And, you know, yeah, I think opening a shop as well is doubly hard. So yeah, I wish you
Yeah,
success.
I think there's so many things that you don't even think about that you just have to deal with straight away. You know, like website issues. Usually you just don't even think about them. And then as soon as you've got a business, if something goes wrong, you just have to deal with it. So
I
annoying. But the
I
good things outweigh the bad
I
things.
have no idea about websites, so I'm very lucky. I've got a teenage brother who's been sorting out my website for me, but
Oh,
we
that's
haven't quite
perfect.
got round to the SEO. So if you do actually just search "Make with Mandy," do not be surprised if you just find loads of chicken recipes, which
Yeah, that happened to me. But naked Mandy sewing is much more successful as a search term.
I need to fix it. And I'm a vegetarian; it's not very on brand at all. So,
Hilarious. Well, that can be your target for the end of the year.
oh,
Remove the
good.
chicken.
Yeah, that is what I need because I just feel like, oh, there's just so much to do. But yeah, I'll get there.
So maybe if we move away from the practicalities and start thinking about your dream outfit, I thought it would be fun to just get to know you a little bit more by chatting about your dream outfit, how you would make it, all of that sort of thing.
So
So, first question is, what would your dream outfit be?
So I'm just really practical as a person. So my dream outfit, I just love jumpsuits. Like what I love to wear is jumpsuits. And I think for me in this coming year, like so many of my like ideas just keep coming back to jumpsuits. So I think that would probably be the sort of thing that I would like to wear as my dream outfit. I think also because of the year that we've had, I'm not really thinking about like wearing fancy dresses or anything. Certainly don't want to wear anything too tight fitting at the moment either. So.
Does that mean you'll be releasing your own jumpsuit pattern soon? Is that on the cards?
I'm right, yes. I've got a really nice one. And I didn't want to show it on today's chat because I'm quite a way off from releasing it. But when I am getting closer, then I will definitely be sharing all of that information with you guys. But let's just say, so my mum is a trained machinist. That's her background. And I put it on the other day when we did a FaceTime call, and she was just like, oh my God, I need to take a picture of you. And my mum is not like that at all. So it got my mum's seal of approval. So it's a good one.
I cannot wait. That sounds like it's going to jump straight to the top of my to-sew list. So
Okay.
is that the jumpsuit you would pick for your dream outfit to make then? Your specific pattern?
I think so. I've got a couple actually that I'm kind of working on, and there's one which has got like a really nice shawl neck collar, and I think that would be something that I would really like to wear because I think you can sort of style it up and style it down, and it can kind of be really good for formal occasions or just for just like kicking about with your mates, really. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that I'm thinking of. And Laura's just put in there, I love a jumpsuit, but always find that they're too long in the leg for me. Well, I shall make sure that I put in some adjustment lines in there for you so that you can make them shorter. But it's really hard. Like I'm 5'3". I'm like below average height. So, you know, it's, yeah, you got to think about all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I made the Alice and Co boiler suit, which I know is not quite a jumpsuit, but similar concept.
Yeah.
And I still haven't hemmed it, and I made it about a year ago. Such a bad habit. But I know what you mean about jumpsuits because I had never had one before. That was my first one. And everyone was just so into them, and I thought, right, I need to see what the fuss is all about. And they're brilliant. I don't know what it is, but it's so satisfying. They're just so satisfying to wear, and you kind of, I feel like you walk with a bit more of a strut. I mean, hopefully not, but you know what I mean? There's just a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah, no, they are great. Apart from when you need to go to the loo, they're not so great, but
That's true. I saw someone on Instagram, I can't remember who today, posted a faux jumpsuit where it basically looks like a jumpsuit, but it's a top and a bottom. I
yeah.
think that's quite a good idea. Maybe I'll do that for my next one, just elongate slightly and then tuck it in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, the second bit is then, what would you use to make your jumpsuit? What fabric? Where would you get it?
Well, knowing me, it'd be a big Larry print. You know, if I had my dream. But actually, one of my friends who I absolutely love, I think she's on Instagram as Willa Illustrates, maybe. She's an illustrator and she recently started doing some illustrations on fabrics just for gifts that she was making for family. And I would love to be able to use some of her illustrations.
Oh yeah,
Just
that would be amazing. Are you more of a big bold print person or like little cute
oh
print?
no, go bold. I'm,
Yeah, same.
go
I
bold.
like the kind of yeah, the bold abstract kind of prints are my favorite.
Yeah, I
And I also like the
shorts.
line.
Yeah, your shorts, they're so bright and fun. It's great.
Yeah, that's a good example of the type that I like, I think.
Me too. Hi.
So, but where would you? Oh, hello. Where would you get your fabric from? Are you the kind of person who likes to dig around in the market, or do you have any favorite shops? Or
So I'm very lucky actually. I live in Walthamstow, northeast London, and we have a fantastic range of shops right on my doorstep. And you know, the price of fabrics is generally quite affordable. And yeah, I would spend like the whole of my Saturday just going in and out of all the shops, and then there's a few market stalls, and I kind of go in and then I have a little thing and then I walk out, go to another shop, and I think, right, if I'm still thinking about that fabric by the time that I've been to the top of the market and come back, then I'm going to buy it.
you are so lucky to live there. So yeah, like you know, I live in the other side of London, but it is 100% worth the cycle. I really want to go back. So my favorite, as I think a lot of people agree, is the stall outside Sainsbury's.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
They're just so bargainous and so nice. Like last time I went there, I got this really nice green Cupro and then also a blue one.
Mhm.
And as I was walking away, the lady at the stall comes running after me and she was like, "Oh, I've just found a bit more. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, thanks." It's just so generous.
Well, next time you come down here, we'll have to go and have a little rummage together. Well, when the shops are finally back open. But yeah, anybody else that's listening to this, if you do happen to be in Walthamstow, ping me a message because I love, yeah, chatting fabrics and stuff with people as well. So
That would be perfect. I remember there's also a really cute tiny shop that sells lots of trimmings and buttons and that kind of thing. Have you found it?
yeah, there's a few actually, and there's one which is hilarious because it's like literally packed to the rafters of trimmings. I don't know how long it's been since you've been here, but it is honestly like this person is a serial hoarder. Like nothing has prices on it. You just go in and you're lucky if you find something that you need. It's like, yeah, it's proper Aladdin's cave. So yeah, Walthamstow guys, get it on your list of places to come.
That is absolutely my kind of place.
Yeah.
So again, with your dream outfit, how would you sew it? Do you do it in little chunks here and there, all in one go? Yeah, what's your vibe when you sew?
I'm actually an all in one go person because I know that if I don't finish it there and then, I probably won't get back to it. So I actually am quite an impatient sewer and I just want it to be really quick.
Hmm.
And I find that as I get to the bit of like finishing hems or doing buttonholes or, you know, any of the really nice, neat bits that need to be neat to make that garment finish really well, they're the bits that I'm like, oh, I just want this to be over now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Does that mean you compromise a bit of quality for speed, or do you manage to get the two balanced quite well?
I would say that if we had to say where my skills lay, pattern cutting versus sewing, it would definitely be pattern cutting. I'm not the most perfect sewist, but that being said, I think I just feel very aware that my mum worked as a machinist for all of her life, so I'm never going to be as good as her. So I've always had that little get out of jail free card that I could just be like, oh, mum, can you do? I always used to get her to finish the hems on things for me.
Oh, I would love that.
She's
I guess yeah, it's kind of the opposite for me. When I started sewing, I didn't know anyone else who sewed, so anything I did seemed great because I had nothing to compare it to.
yeah.
Whereas for you, you're probably comparing everything to your mum, who's amazing.
She is literally amazing. Like, yeah, I will never be able to be as good as her, but she did it as a job. So, but yeah, she's very good.
So you like to sew all in one go.
Yeah.
Are you a solo sewer? Do you like to have people around you?
Oh no, get out of my way. I'm so. I just need to get on with this. And also,
And
because,
music.
because I don't follow other people's patterns and instructions. You know, I'm generally, it's something that I've drafted myself. So as I'm doing the whole sewing process, I'm actually working out which bit do I need to do next. You know, I won't have a list of instructions there. I'm thinking, right, if I do this now, then what impact is that going to have on attaching this? Or, you know, which order do I need to sew things in? So I actually quite like sewing for that kind of actually just thinking about it and really being in the zone. So I don't like to have distractions, and I do like to just have some nice sort of calming music on in the background.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. I actually recently, so most of the time I am an avid follower of pattern instructions, but lately I've been trying to kind of read it all and understand it and then set the instructions aside and do it myself because I just think it's really nice when you can have a big chunk of time away from the screen and like you say, not have any distractions and just get into that kind of mindful place.
Yeah.
So that's my latest approach. I did it with the bulk culottes, just like a quick sneak peek of your YouTube videos and then just cracked on with it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, those pockets are quite unusual because they're kind of made from one piece. So it's a bit different to where you might just have the curved. So I think it takes a little bit of getting your head around because it doesn't feel very intuitive. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The pieces don't make sense. But then once you've done it, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Why did you choose to do the pockets that way?
So traditionally you would have like curved pocket pieces, and that actually leads to quite a lot of fabric waste. You know, everywhere where you have the curves, they can't really tessellate very well, whereas the pockets on the bulk culotte, they're made more out of straighter edges. And so you can actually fit quite a lot more across a width of fabric if you were doing it in a factory style production. So, you know, in my professional career, I've spent a lot of time working with factories. So it's kind of those little tweaks, which I think also in my sewing instructions, some things are much more the sort of more factory and production technique as opposed to what I know some other people do just from learning to sew at home.
Yeah, I love that. I often pick patterns like for the pack or just for me generally based on just something a bit interesting about them, like in this case, an interesting pocket.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really cool. And I wondered as well if if you might have chosen it partly because it's stronger, because it's just the fabric kind of just goes around rather than there being a seam at the bottom.
Yeah, you're not going to get any like any of those holes in your pocket, which is great as well. But yeah, and it just kind of just, yeah, it's like one less step to do, isn't it, really? You just fold it.
Yeah. I've taken us off on a tangent, but back to your dream outfit. So the final question is, where would you wear your bold print jumpsuit
Oh,
to?
I'm just loud and proud, and I'll just wear it everywhere. I just would have no qualms. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I love feeling comfortable in what I'm wearing. Like, you know, it needs to just, I don't want anything that's too tight or anything that's too fussy. But yeah, I'm always the one that's there that's got all the pattern on, and you know, everybody else will be there in black and I'm there in bright colours.
But I love that person. I especially love that person in winter, because you quite often in the middle of winter you walk down the street and everything's grey and black and navy, and then you'll see this one person who's wearing orange or neon or something, and it's just really nice. It's a bit of a boost. So I think it's good that you're that person.
Yeah, I think I just struggle to like build an outfit because I buy patterned bottoms and then I buy a patterned top and then I've got a patterned coat, and it's like, oh, actually, no,
Yeah, that's true. That is so
harder
true.
on that.
Yeah. But I don't know, maybe you could just embrace the pattern matching or pattern mismatching, or just rolling with it.
Yeah, I definitely could do. Actually, one of the things about when I designed this cami was that I actually can see myself making this in lots of different fabrics, you know, so I can see myself making it in plains, and actually that will help with my issue of having lots of patterned bottoms and coats, so I can actually start making myself some plain tops as well. So
Yeah, definitely. And then you can always throw on something patterned underneath.
exactly.
Not that way. Oh, well, really nice hearing about your dream wardrobe or your dream outfit.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to people before we draw this to a close?
Yeah, I just really want to thank you, Haystack, and you know, just all the people that have supported me to get to this stage. I'm really enjoying the whole process, and I love chatting to the sewing community. So, you know, just hit me a little message. You know, check out my YouTube. It's really new. I'm just learning as I go. And if anybody's interested in finding out anything more about creating your own patterns and wants to ask me any questions, just send me a message. I'm really happy to share knowledge. I've got so much from the sewing community, so I'm really happy to give it back. And then, yeah, just I'll post on my stories about my top. I'd love somebody to choose the name for this. And yeah, if you're chosen as the person who wins the name, then you'll get a free pattern as well.
I just love a game, so I am absolutely going to enter some names, and I probably am going to suggest some athlete names inspired by the bolt culottes.
Fantastic.
Cool. Well, so nice to talk to you, Mandy, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the Haystack Pack bolt culottes coming out. I think there's a few more people planning to do the shorts version, so that'll be quite fun. And then at least one person is making full length. So yeah, I'm sure there's a few to come, and I'm excited to see them, and I'm really excited to see your upcoming patterns.
Oh, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed our chat, so thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right, bye for now then.
Bye.